Hey guys, this is Chris with the Gorilla Gunfighter, and today we are sitting with Sonny Puzikas. Sonny, how are you?
I'm doing well, you?
Very, very tired, very hot, cuts and bruises, but none worse for wear.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you. This is my Gomez Memorial shirt. Trying to, hopefully it'll help me out a little bit. Right now, guys, we're halfway through day 2 of AK gunfighting. It's definitely an eye-opener. It's different than any other rifle class I've ever taken. The methodology behind it is 180 from anything I've taken or any other courses I've heard of. And that'll be our first question. Sonny, how would you say that your method of teaching and instructing differs from what else is offered out there?
You know, I mean, before I get to the methods, there's only so many ways that you can run the rifle. There's only so many things.
I'd speak up.
There's only so many ways that you can run the rifle. There's only so many ways, so many things you can do with the rifle. You know, it's very hard to invent something new, to offer something revolutionary or whatever. But you know, my understanding of the purpose of what we do is in the realm of gunfights. Surviving is not enough. Surviving is not enough. You know, the goal is, you know, like it, dislike it, be indifferent to the terminology, is to kill your opponent and or multiple opponents. And the sad reality is that they are attempting or trying to do exactly the same thing to you, maybe your loved ones, your family, maybe other innocents. And there is a need to understand the essence of the process. And unfortunately, what I see in a lot of gun training community is that we're focusing so much on the trigger time. You know, and a lot of courses out there are, you know, you're going to have so much trigger time. Mm-hmm. And to me, I understand the factor of fun. If this wasn't fun, people would not be coming back. Yeah. There has to be a factor of fun. But that fun has to have substance underneath it. There has to be a base. You know, just firing 2,000 rounds over the weekend is a shitload of fun. Granted, it's also expensive fun. You know, you have to ask yourself, has each round, or at least every second round, taught me a lesson? Where do I screw up? Where are my weaknesses? What do I have to work on? You know, human nature is that we try to do something that we're pretty good at. And because we like to stay comfortable, we like to feel good about ourselves. So in my courses, to my methodology, I try to encourage people to diagnose, to self-diagnose. Where do you suck? Like really suck.
Well, and that's hard for people though, because you don't want to admit, you know, your faults. You want to say, "Yep, I can, you know, lay down there and drill that thing from, you know, 100 yards away on my left-hand side." But you know, some of the drills we were doing today was on the move, switching from your right hand to your left hand, shooting or transitioning from your rifle while moving, and it's not fun. It's not sexy, guys. To steal from Paul, it's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not going to make you look good. It's a pain in the ass, but it's stuff that you have that you need to know if you're honest with yourself. You know, Sonny spoke a lot today about, you know, anybody can stand there and, you know, want to punch holes in paper, but that's not, you know, where the work's done at. Anybody can do that, but it's where you start to suck and you find what you're bad at and decide to work on that is where progress is actually made.
And you know what you said, you know, people that don't like to work on that and don't like to feel that they are less than what they would like to think they are. In my personal opinion, I think this is the good place to find out. It's not a good place to find out when you have projectiles flying away in real life, you know, because then that discovery may be your very final discovery in life. And you know, to be blunt, screw you if you die in the fight. You know, you leave people behind. You leave your loved ones, your family, your kids, people that care about you, and you know, when it all boils down to it, the reason for that could be that you didn't have skills, and the reason why you didn't develop those skills because you have too much of a fucking ego, because you wanted to feel good about yourself in training. And it's sad, really. It's sad, but you know, mostly it relates to males, but the man's pride is #1 killer of men. It truly is.
Yep. Sonny and myself share a mutual friend who passed away a few years ago, Paul Gomez, or the Nomez, the Tactical Gnome. He's known by a few different monikers, but and it's sort of whispered in the gun training world because there's a lot of egos that would get hurt if someone actually came out and said the truth, which I'm not really afraid of because no one really cares what I have to say. But Sonny and Paul, you can debate which one. I'll say Sonny was the one to really bring AKs to the limelight, but Sonny and Paul were the originators of actually working with them and putting the information out there in a way that people could absorb, in a way that they would accept in a time of, oh, the AK's the communist rifle, the poor man's rifle, that you name it, it was said about it when it was all M16, M4. As far as bringing the training here, could you just say a few words on how you went from your former military background as a Spetsnaz operative, that's correct, to how you came to the U.S. to train individuals who sought you out?
It's again, Paul, fuck, I wish he was still around. It's a good man. Had a lot of good times with him, a lot of good conversations, in-depth conversations. No worries anybody out there. Documents are not classified, but I have no goal nor desire to make it public, because Paul was also, as you know, he was a geek. Paul was the king of the geeks. He was encyclopedia, not just knowledge about the weapons, all weapons, not just AK. I mean, you could ask him about any weapon and he could tell you so much information you'd have a headache within 5 minutes. But Paul was also very, Paul had information, who taught what when, who was present, what kind of course was that. And a few years before his passing, we had this little exchange about all the little politics going on in newly popular Kalashnikov rifle gunfighting realm. And Paul sent me this information, like literally from 2003 on all the seminars that were being done by people, and when who started what, and when who was teaching, urban rifle course, and one person showed up with AK, and they, 5 years later they said, I taught an AK class back then, and this and that. But you know what? None of that is important. The point is that has Paul or myself originated this training? No, AK's been around since 1949. Okay, in Mother Russia, that training progressed for decades. There are some things that are, for your line troops, for the cannon fodder troops. There was some serious work developed behind the curtain, so to speak. People that are smart, people that are scientists of violence, like Paul was, they picked up the system and they started dissecting it. Instead of trying to adapt a different weapon system to a procedures that come from quite different weapon system, like AR-15, M16, M4 platform. So a lot of those developments were, again, there's really nothing new. There are some specifics to work with the rifle and all that. So yeah, from the best of my knowledge, myself, let's say, after immigrating here in the early 90s, getting involved in the personal protection business, and people saw some of my training and asked me to show him this and that. So somewhere in the 97, 98, that time frame, I started teaching individuals, more like on personal one-on-one basis, some rifle work, some this and that. In the early 2000s, I did a few seminars in Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, a few places like that. My first public seminar was in 2002. As far as AK goes, my first DVD came out in 2003, and that's when Paul Gomez contacted me after seeing the DVD. He used a lot of inappropriate language over the phone, and we had a great conversation about things. And then in 2005, we did the first seminar together. We worked a couple times together, and it was a great exchange, man. It was awesome,
Now, the only way I knew Sonny was through the Deadliest Warrior program on Spike TV. I just knew him as, hey, there's that Spetsnaz guy that was on Spike TV. But you've been in several films and productions. I know one with the one that most comes to mind is Sinners and Saints, where you die.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Twice, actually.
Oh, see? Okay, let's see. What other productions have you taken part in?
I've been involved with a little movie, not such a great movie, with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Cole Hauser called The Hit List.
Okay.
The movie we're finishing up right now is called Daylight's End, also directed by my friend Will Kaufman, with Johnny Strong and Lance Henriksen and a lot of other great talent. It's going to be quite violent. I'm involved in making sure the weapons work is correct. And I'm a good guy in that, but I die again, so just...
You can't catch a break in these films. You just...
You know what? Eventually I will make love to Angelina Jolie and stay alive to the end of the movie, all
See,
right?
that's the one I want to see.
Yeah.
That's one. Well, of course, we'll touch just a second on the politics, the current situation going on in Ukraine. I don't know if that touches real close to home with you, but what are your thoughts on the current situation that's unfolding right now?
You know, it is a big geopolitical game, you know, and the unfortunate part is a lot of people that live in Ukraine, whether they're Ukrainians, Russians, Cossacks, you know, whatever, they're going to be the ones that suffer the consequences the most. And it's a big unfair game to them. But the game is, it's a game of influence. It's a game of influence. You know, if you remember the missile crisis, JFK was willing to go all the way to nuclear war, not to allow Soviet weapons so close to home. Russian similar situation right now. You know, Ukrainian border is 480 kilometers from Moscow, and it offsets the balance of power. You know, and like it, dislike it, every country has its national interests. Not always they will go exactly in line with U.S., NATO, or European Union national interests. You know, we can try to be bullies and then impose our will. The fact remains that you are dealing with another superpower that has just as much military power, maybe not as much economical power, but it also has, you know, 50 times less national debt.
Exactly.
And it controls a lot of national resources. So, you know, you can look at that as respecting it because of how powerful it is, or you can do it just because it's right. And, you know, if it was approached more like this, respectful, we all understand each other's interests, I think it would work out better for everybody, including people involved in the middle. Of Ukraine, but now it's you know, it's information is very biased on both sides. To dig to the truth is very hard, and again, it's unfortunate, you know, those sanctions, it's a lot of smoke and mirror, you know, and the boomerang effect will come back to the Western countries, European Union especially, and to some degree US as well, because we're doing things that we think somehow will change their minds of Russian leadership, and it won't, because to them it's very clear, once Ukraine becomes European Union, next thing is going to be NATO. Okay. And Putin, we should have listened to him back in 2000, 2001 when he said, I will not allow Ukraine to become part of NATO. He meant it too.
Well said. Now we're going to plug some of your stuff. For you guys that want, Sonny has 2 DVDs out right now. The Forge, which is a combat conditioning DVD, it will smoke your balls. So use caution. I highly recommend it. I bought my copy. Also Beyond the Firearms II, which is this is actually the first class, working off of what you talk about and what you explain in the DVD. And that's available. And you got T-shirts and course information. Where can people get a hold of you at to get a hold of you for your swag and classes?
My website is not very functional. The web store of that website is very functional. You can buy and order all the stuff. It's www.gospelofviolence.com/store.
Gospel of Violence.
Yes, Gospel of Violence. It's actually anti-gospel, but don't take it in the faith or religious way.
Okay.
You know, because gospel, it's something that's been preached as an infallible truth, and we see a lot of that in obviously gun community or self-defense community, whatever. Most updated information, you can find it through my name, Sonny Puzikas, or Gospel of Violence, going to social media, be it Facebook or YouTube, whatever.
Okay.
So it's relatively easy to find. I'm pretty easy to contact. I'm not very active, but I am present on a few of the major forums here and there. So information is there. Website will be updated and functional and updatable relatively soon. I'm asking some people to help me with that and work on it. So that's pretty much it.
Good. Sonny, I appreciate you talking with us.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Chris.
It's been an outstanding class so far. I'm pretty sure I'm going to not like you very much by the end of the day. But I'm okay with that.
But that's all right too, man.
That's okay too.
I dwell on that.
Good.
It's good.
And guys, look Sonny up, get some training, start somewhere. This is a good place to start. We'll see you guys later. Thanks.